Life was never meant to be an endless cycle of waking up, going to work, paying bills, and repeating that routine until your body is too tired to keep going. Too many people spend their lives chasing a paycheck, believing that survival is the ultimate goal. But God didn't design us to just get by. He didn't create us to bury our dreams and settle for less. We were made for something far greater, our God-given purpose. From a young age, we're taught to aim for job security instead of meaning. Study hard, get good grades, find a stable career. But that formula never mentions your calling, the unique reason you were put on this earth. The world tells you to chase money. God tells you to chase purpose. And while money can bring short-term comfort, it can never bring lasting fulfillment. People who live for purpose wake up with passion, knowing their life was made to make a difference. Still, many stay in jobs that drain them, not because they want to, but because they're afraid of the unknown. They believe their survival depends on a paycheck, forgetting that God is the true provider. Like Gideon, they hide in places they were never meant to stay, stuck in routines, stuck in fear, stuck in small thinking. But even while Gideon was hiding, God called him for something greater. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Judges 6:12, NIV. God speaks to your potential, not your fear. He sees beyond where you are and calls you into who you were meant to be. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11, NIV. If you've been feeling restless, overlooked, or unsure, you might be closer to your calling than you think. In this video, we'll explore 3 powerful signs that God is calling you to a higher purpose, helping you recognize His direction for your life so you don't miss the greater calling He's placed on your path. Gideon was not a fighter. He was hiding in a small place, scared, just trying to stay safe. God didn't talk to him as who he was then. He spoke to him as who he was becoming. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Judges 6:12, NIV. That's how purpose starts, not when you feel ready, but when God names your potential. Psychology calls this the beginning of self-efficacy. It's the moment someone starts to believe, maybe I can do this. Often that belief starts not from within, but from someone speaking into us what we cannot yet see. God does that with Gideon, and He's doing it with you. To help clarify this, consider the following examples from clinical practice and everyday life. In therapy, a person struggling with anxiety might feel powerless and stuck. But when a therapist gently points out their past successes and strengths, the client may begin to see themselves as capable of managing anxiety. This marks the start of building self-efficacy, the belief that they can take steps toward change, even when they don't feel ready yet. Imagine a high school athlete who doubts their ability to compete at a higher level. When their coach pulls them aside and says, "I see something in you, you've got what it takes to go far." That moment can ignite a belief in their potential, even if they previously felt overlooked or unsure of themselves. In both cases, just as with Gideon, the key moment comes when someone recognizes and names the potential inside, setting the foundation for real growth and purpose. Gideon questioned God a lot. He asked for signs, reassurance, proof. And God didn't rebuke him. He responded, "Do not be angry with me. Let me make just one more request." Judges 6:39, NIV. Sometimes we think doubt disqualifies us, but in reality, doubt can deepen your dependence. God isn't offended by your questions. He's patient with your process. Therapists use step-by-step confidence building to help people take risks. It's called mastery experience. In other words, when people take small steps, get feedback, and slowly build belief in themselves. That's what God did for Gideon, and what He'll do for you, if you keep showing up and asking for clarity. To better understand this, here are some examples from clinical practice and everyday life. A client recovering from addiction might struggle with trusting their ability to stay sober. Through counseling, the therapist encourages the client to take manageable steps, like attending one support meeting at a time. Each small success builds their confidence, gradually reducing doubt and increasing self-trust, a process similar to Gideon's repeated requests for reassurance. Think of a guy trying to build a workout routine who keeps needing to check his form or get advice before trying new exercises. His trainer stays patient, encouraging him to keep practicing and trust himself. With every session, he gains confidence and starts pushing past his doubts and fears, slowly turning uncertainty into strength and progress. In both scenarios, just as with Gideon, persistent questioning and seeking reassurance isn't a sign of failure, but part of the journey toward deeper faith and stronger self-belief. Think about this. What if every time you had a question or felt unsure, it was actually God helping you grow your faith like building muscle? It's not a failure, it's preparing you to become stronger. Before we dive into discovering your purpose in life, I encourage you to subscribe. You'll learn how to become a better man and join the top 1%. When Gideon finally agrees to lead, God tells him his army is too big. "You have too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into their hands, or Israel would boast." Judges 7:2 NIV. God reduces the army from 32,000 to 300, not because he needed less, but because he wanted Gideon to need him more. Here's the truth. Sometimes God will strip away your support system so your faith can grow roots. In psychology, this is the tension between external validation and internal resilience. We grow when we no longer rely on outcomes or approval, but on conviction. God wants to build Gideon's belief not in numbers, but in the call.
I don't get it. How can having fewer men be better? Isn't having more people stronger?
Gideon didn't realize that God's plan wasn't about how many men he had, but about who he trusted. If there were too many soldiers, people might give credit to the army instead of to God.
So, I'm supposed to trust God completely, even if it feels scary?
Yes, Gideon learned that real strength comes from trusting God alone. When you do that, your faith becomes much stronger than any number of soldiers. And the same is true for you. To illustrate this more clearly, consider these examples from clinical settings and everyday life. A patient recovering from codependency might constantly seek validation from a parent or partner, basing their self-worth on that person's approval. They may avoid making decisions without first getting reassurance, fearing rejection or disapproval. In therapy, they begin to recognize this pattern and are gradually guided to build confidence in their own choices and values. This mirrors how God reduced Gideon's army, stripping away external sources of security, to strengthen Gideon's faith in God and his own calling, not in the safety of numbers. Imagine a young man who's always leaned on his friends for motivation, going to the gym only if someone tags along or starting projects only when others are involved. Then life shifts, and he finds himself alone, having to push forward without that usual support. At first, it feels discouraging, even isolating. But as he keeps showing up, hitting the gym by himself, setting goals, staying consistent, he begins to build real confidence and discipline. That loss of support becomes the very thing that forces him to grow. Just like when God reduced Gideon's army to teach him that strength doesn't come from numbers, but from trust and purpose. In both cases, like with Gideon, having less outside help isn't a setback. It's a setup for something greater in you. It's a powerful way to build stronger inner strength and trust in your own unique purpose. If you're feeling small but sensing a greater purpose calling your name, if you keep needing reassurance before you take that next step, if life is taking away your comfort and safety, know this: you're exactly where God wants you to be. True transformation isn't about your circumstances. It's about the power and confidence that grow inside you when you follow Jesus. You are stronger and more powerful than you realize. When you say yes to God, even in fear, His strength becomes your strength. God doesn't need perfect people. He needs people willing to step forward in faith. Remember what He said to Gideon: "Go in the strength you have. Am I not sending you?" Judges 6:14 NIV. You already have what it takes to live your purpose. If you're ready to walk in that power and discover your calling, click the link in the description below to download your free identity journal, a 5-day devotional that will help guide you every step of the way. Don't wait. Step into your destiny today.
If you're not subscribed to King Junkie View, you probably won't see us again.